3 years ago, my husband Damien divorced me because he believed I was cheating on him. The irony, I'm blind. I've been blind since birth. I couldn't even see the face of the man he accused me of loving. But Damien didn't care about logic that night. He cared about what his childhood friend Cassandra told him. I remember standing in our penthouse, rain pouring outside, my white cane clutched in one hand while my other hand desperately tried to reach for him. But Damien stepped back as if my touch would burn him. "How long, Eli?" he asked, his voice so cold it froze my heart. "How long have you been lying to me?" I couldn't understand what was happening. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely sign the words. "Damien, please." "What are you talking about?" "What did I do?" That's when Cassandra spoke up, her voice dripping with fake concern. Welcome back to BL Story Realm. New here? Subscribe now, trust me, you'll love what's coming. Let's jump into today's story. Damien, I saw him at Professor Lawrence's studio. The way the professor held Eli's hands during practice, the way Eli smiled at him. It wasn't innocent. "I'm so sorry, but you deserve to know the truth." My blood ran cold. Professor Lawrence was my piano mentor, the man who'd been helping me prepare for my Carnegie Hall audition. Yes, he guided my hands on the keys. Yes, I smiled when I finally got a difficult piece right. But that was it. That was all it ever was. "That's not true," I said desperately. "Cass, you know he's just my teacher." "Damien, you have to believe me." But Damien's voice was like steel. "I wanted to believe you, Eli. God knows I did. But Cass has been my friend since we were kids. She has no reason to lie. And you've been coming home late every night, smelling like his cologne, refusing to tell me details about your lessons. Because I wanted to surprise you." I practically shouted, my voice cracking. The audition was supposed to be a surprise. I was going to dedicate my performance to you. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Then Damien spoke again, and his words destroyed me. "I can't do this anymore, Eli. I can't be with someone I don't trust. Someone who makes me feel like a fool. Damien, please. We're done." Those two words shattered everything. I felt my knees buckle, but I forced myself to stay standing. My pride, my dignity, that was all I had left. "Fine," I whispered, tears streaming down my face. "If you don't believe me, then there's nothing left to say." "What?" I didn't know that night what I wouldn't discover for. Another 2 weeks was that I was already 2 months pregnant with his child. The divorce papers came within a week. Damien didn't even have the decency to deliver them himself. His lawyer did. I signed them with trembling hands, using the special signature guide I'd had since childhood. 2 weeks after that, I went to the doctor for what I thought was just stress-related nausea. The doctor's words hit me like a freight train. "Congratulations, Mr. Hart. You're approximately 10 weeks pregnant." I sat in that clinic chair, completely numb. Pregnant. I was carrying Damien's child and he was already gone. He thought I was a cheater. He'd thrown me away like garbage. I thought about calling him. My fingers hovered over his contact for hours. But then I remembered the coldness in his voice. The way he'd chosen to believe Cassandra over me, and I knew even if I told him about the baby, would he even believe it was his? So I made a decision. I would disappear. I would start over. And I would raise this child alone. I left New York that same month. With the small settlement from the divorce and my savings, I moved to Seattle. It was far enough that I wouldn't accidentally run into Damien, but close enough to the music scene that I could still pursue my passion. But life had other plans. At 6 months pregnant, I was crossing a street when I heard the screech of tires. Someone grabbed my arm and yanked me back just in time. I felt the rush of wind as a car sped past, missing me by inches. "Are you okay?" A deep, concerned voice asked. I was shaking so badly I could barely speak. I think so. "Thank you. Thank you so much." "You're pregnant," the voice said gently. "Let me take you to a hospital, just to make sure everything's okay." That's how I met Dr. Noah Sterling. Noah was an ophthalmologist, one of the best in the country. He specialized in corneal transplants and vision restoration surgeries. After making sure the baby and I were fine, he asked me something that changed my life. "Your eyes," he said carefully. "Have you ever been evaluated for a corneal transplant?" I shook my head. I was born with congenital corneal opacity. Every doctor I've seen said I was a poor candidate for surgery. The success rate was too low. That was true, Noah said. 5 years ago. But there's a new technique now. Bioengineered corneas. The success rate for cases like yours is over 70%. Would you be interested? I didn't answer right away. I'd spent 28 years blind. I'd learned to navigate the world without sight. Music was my vision. Sound was my color. Did I want to risk a surgery that might fail? That might even make things worse? But then I felt my baby kick, and I thought, what if I could see my child's face? What if I could watch them grow up, see their first smile, their first steps? Yes, I whispered. I want to try. My son, Jamie, was born on a snowy December morning. I couldn't see him, but I could feel him, his tiny fingers wrapping around mine, his soft breath against my chest. The nurse described him to me. He's beautiful, she said softly. He has your nose and your mouth. But his eyes, they're striking. Dark gray, almost silver. And his hair is black. Damien's eyes. Damien's hair. I held Jamie close and whispered, "You're mine. You're all mine. And I'm going to be the best father I can be." Noah visited me in the hospital every day. He brought flowers, which he described to me in detail, baby supplies, and endless encouragement. Over the months that followed, he became more than just my doctor. He became my friend, my support system. And eventually, something more. When Jamie was 8 months old, I had the surgery. The recovery was long and painful. For weeks, my eyes were bandaged. I couldn't hold Jamie properly because I couldn't risk any sudden movements. Noah was there through all of it, helping me, encouraging me, reading to me when the darkness felt suffocating, and then came the day the bandages came off. I remember Noah's voice, gentle and nervous. "Okay, Eli, I'm going to remove the bandages now. Keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. The light will be overwhelming at first." I felt the gauze being unwrapped, layer by layer. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. "Okay," Noah said softly. "Open your eyes, slowly." I did. At first, everything was white. Blinding, painful white. Then, slowly, shapes began to form, colors, light and shadow. And then, a face. Noah's face. He had kind brown eyes, warm and gentle. Dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead. A small scar near his left eyebrow. He was smiling, and it was the most beautiful smile I'd ever seen because it was the first smile I'd ever seen. "Hi," he whispered. I burst into tears. "I can see you." "Oh my God, Noah, I can see you." He was crying too. "You can see." I lie, you can see. The next face I saw was Jamie's. My son, my beautiful boy with his father's dark hair and silver gray eyes, giggling as I picked him up and spun him around. For the first time in my life, I could see the world, and it was overwhelming and terrifying and absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Over the next 2 years, my life transformed completely. Noah and I fell in love, real, genuine love built on friendship, respect, and shared experiences. He proposed to me on Jamie's 2nd birthday, and I said yes without hesitation. I also changed my name. Eli Hart became Eli Hart Sterling. And professionally, I performed under the name Adrian Malhotra, a fresh start, a new identity. No one from my past life knew who I was. I threw myself into music with a renewed passion. Now that I could see, I could read sheet music directly instead of relying on braille or memorization. I could watch my hands on the keys, see the way the light reflected off the piano's polished surface. Music became even more magical. My reputation grew. Adrian Malhotra became known in classical music circles as a virtuoso pianist with an unconventional story, a performer who'd gained sight later in life and brought a unique emotional depth to every piece. And then came the invitation that would change everything. The New York Philharmonic Gala, one of the most prestigious music events in the country. They wanted Adrian Malhotra to be the featured performer. New York, Damien City. The city where my heart had been broken 3 years ago. Noah found me staring at the invitation, my hands trembling slightly. "Eli, what's wrong?" I handed him the letter. They want me to perform in New York. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Damien. Yeah. Do you want to go? He asked gently. You don't have to. You don't owe anyone anything. I thought about it for a long time. Part of me wanted to refuse to stay far away from the city that held so many painful memories. But another part of me, the part that had survived, that had built a new life, that had learned to see, wanted to go back. Not for Damien. For myself. I want to go, I said finally. I want to perform. And I want to do it on my own terms. Noah smiled. Then we'll all go. As a family. The night of the gala arrived. The venue was the Lincoln Center, and it was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, men and women in elegant evening wear. I stood backstage in my performance suit, black with silver accents, and adjusted the decorative mask I'd chosen to wear for the first half of my performance. It was part of my signature style as Adrian Malhotra. Mystery and Reveal. Jamie was sitting with Noah in the front row, wearing a little suit that made him look impossibly adorable. Before I went on stage, I knelt down to his level. You ready to watch Daddy play, buddy? Jamie nodded enthusiastically. You're gonna be amazing, Daddy. You're the best piano player in the whole world. I laughed and kissed his forehead. I love you, Jamie. Love you too. Noah squeezed my hand. You've got this. Go show them what you're made of. I took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The audience was massive. Hundreds of people, all waiting to see the mysterious Adrian Malhotra. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit the piano. I sat down, adjusted my mask, and placed my fingers on the keys. The first piece I played was Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, soft, melancholic, beautiful. I poured every ounce of emotion into it, the loneliness I'd felt 3 years ago. The hope I'd found in Jamie, the love Noah had given me. The audience was completely silent. Mesmerized, for the second piece, I played an original composition I'd written called Fractured Light. It started dark and chaotic, representing my time in darkness and pain, then gradually built into something brighter, more hopeful. The transition from minor to major key was deliberate, a musical representation of my journey from blindness to sight, from heartbreak to healing. When the final note rang out, the audience erupted in applause. I stood and bowed, then slowly reached up and removed my mask. The applause faltered for just a moment as people tried to place my face. But then it resumed, even louder. What I didn't see, what I wouldn't find out until later, was that Damien Cross was in the audience. And the moment I removed that mask, his entire world came crashing down. After the performance, there was a reception in the adjoining hall. I was immediately surrounded by people wanting to congratulate me, ask questions, request autographs. Noah and Jamie stayed close by my side. Mr. Malhotra, that was extraordinary. A woman gushed. I've never heard Fractured Light performed by anyone but you. The emotion in it is just transcendent. Thank you, I said with a smile. I wrote it during a difficult time in my life. It means a lot that it resonates with people. Jamie tugged on my sleeve. Daddy, I'm thirsty. Okay, buddy. Let's get you some juice. I started walking toward the refreshment table with Jamie's hand in mine and Noah following behind. And that's when I heard it. Eli? My entire body went rigid. That voice. I knew that voice. I'd heard it in my dreams and nightmares for 3 years. I turned slowly, and there he was, Damien Cross, still devastatingly handsome, still commanding attention in his tailored tuxedo. But he looked different, too thinner, with dark circles under his eyes. He looked haunted. Standing next to him, looking equally shocked, was Cassandra. For a moment, nobody spoke. We just stared at each other. Jamie, oblivious to the tension, looked up at Damien curiously. Who are you? Damien's eyes dropped to Jamie, and I watched the color drain from his face. Because Jamie looked exactly like him. The resemblance was unmistakable. The same black hair, the same facial structure, the same intense gaze. Eli, Damien said again, his voice hoarse. Is he my son? I said coolly. His name is Jamie Hart Sterling. Damien's eyes went to Noah, who'd moved to stand beside me, one hand protectively on my shoulder. And you are? Dr. Noah Sterling, Noah said calmly. Eli's husband. The word husband hit Damien like a physical blow. I could see it in the way he flinched, the way his jaw clenched. Cassandra, recovering from her shock, let out a nervous laugh. Eli, what a surprise. We had no idea you were Adrian Malhotra. That performance was lovely. I looked at her directly, my expression neutral. Thank you, Cassandra. And you can see now, she continued, her voice pitching higher. That's amazing. How did that happen? Corneal transplant surgery, I said simply. Noah performed it. An awkward silence stretched between us. Jamie was looking between all the adults, clearly confused by the weird energy. Then Damien spoke, his voice strained. Eli, can we talk? Privately. No, I said immediately. Please, Damien said, and there was desperation in his voice now. Just 5 minutes. I need to explain what? I interrupted, my voice sharp. That you didn't believe me 3 years ago? That you chose to trust your childhood friend over your own husband? That you divorced me without even giving me a chance to defend myself? People nearby were starting to stare. Noah gently touched my arm. Eli, maybe we should step outside. He was right. This wasn't the place for a confrontation. I looked at Damien coldly. Fine, 5 minutes, outside. We moved to a private balcony overlooking the city. Noah stayed inside with Jamie, but I could see him watching through the glass doors, ready to intervene if needed. The moment we were alone, Damien started talking, words pouring out of him like a dam breaking. Eli, I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. About everything. Cassandra Lead. She admitted it 6 months ago. She was obsessed with me and she wanted you gone. Everything she said about you and Professor Laurent was fabricated. I investigated after I saw you tonight. I tracked down your old professor. He told me the truth, that you were preparing a surprise performance for our anniversary. That there was never anything inappropriate between you two. I stared at him, my expression carefully blank. And you're telling me this now because I was an idiot. Damien said desperately. Because I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. His eyes dropped to the glass doors where Jamie was visible. Is he mine, Eli? Please. Tell me the truth. Is Jamie my son? I was quiet for a long moment. Then I said, what difference does it make? What difference? Damien looked like I'd slapped him. Eli, if he's my son, then I have a right. You have no rights, I said coldly. You gave up any rights you had when you divorced me. When you called me a liar and a cheater. When you threw me out of your life without even trying to hear my side of the story. I know, Damien whispered, tears actually forming in his eyes. I know, and I hate myself for it. Every single day I hate myself. Please, Eli, I'm begging you. Give me another chance. Let me make this right. We can be a family, you, me, and Jamie. I let out a bitter laugh. A family? Damien, I have a family. Noah is Jamie's father in every way that matters. He was there when Jamie was born. He changed diapers and stayed up during sleepless nights. He taught Jamie to walk, to talk, to ride a bike. He loves Jamie unconditionally. What were you doing during all that time? Living your perfect life, I assume. Believing I was a cheater. Damien's face crumpled. I wasn't living a perfect life. I was miserable. I missed you every single day. I kept your piano recordings. I visited places we used to go together. That's not my problem, I said flatly. You made your choice 3 years ago. You chose to believe lies instead of trusting the man you married. You chose to throw me away like I meant nothing. Well, guess what, Damien? I survived. I built a new life. I found someone who actually loves and respects me. And I'm happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. But Jamie is happy too, I interrupted. He has 2 parents who adore him. He's loved, safe, and thriving. What more could you possibly offer him? Damien looked completely broken. I'm his biological father. Biology isn't everything, I said softly. Love is. And Noah loves Jamie more than you could ever imagine. We stood in silence for a moment. Then Damien said quietly, Do you still love me? Even a little? I looked at him, really looked at him. Once upon a time, I'd loved this man with my entire heart. He'd been my world, but that felt like a lifetime ago. No, I said honestly, I don't. I did once. But you killed that love the night you handed me divorce papers. You killed it when you chose to believe the worst of me. And honestly, Damien, I'm grateful you did. Because if you hadn't, I never would have found Noah. I never would have become the person I am today. Damien's tears spilled over. Eli, please, my 5 minutes are up, I said, turning toward the door. Goodbye, Damien. I hope you find happiness someday. But it won't be with me. I walked back inside where Noah and Jamie were waiting. Jamie immediately ran to me. Daddy! Can we get ice cream on the way home? I picked him up, hugging him tight. Absolutely, buddy. Whatever you want. Noah looked at me questioningly. I gave him a small smile and nodded. He understood. I was okay. We were okay. As we left the venue, I glanced back once. Damien was still standing on the balcony, watching us leave. Cassandra had joined him, trying to touch his arm, but he pulled away from her roughly. For a brief moment, I felt a flicker of pity. But then Jamie laughed at something Noah said, and that flicker disappeared. I'd wasted enough time looking backward. My future was right here in the present with the people who truly loved me. I'm sitting at my piano in our Seattle home, the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Jamie is at school, and Noah is at the hospital. It's quiet, peaceful. My phone buzzes with an email notification. It's from my publicist. Eli, we've received another interview request from the New York Times. They want to do a feature on Adrian Malhotra, the pianist who learned to see. Are you interested? I smile and type back. Sure. But only if they understand I'm not just a story about gaining sight. I'm a story about finding love, building family, and learning that sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead to the best things in our lives. Send. I place my fingers on the piano keys and begin to play a new composition I've been working on. I'm calling it Second Chances, not because I gave Damien one, but because life gave me one. A chance to start over. A chance to find real love. A chance to be truly happy. And as I play, I think about how ironic it is. For 28 years I was blind, but I could see people's true hearts. I heard the honesty in Noah's voice, the genuine love in Jamie's laughter. But Damien, who had perfect vision his entire life, was blind to the truth until it was too late. Sometimes, the people who can see are the most blind of all. The final note rings out, hanging in the air like a promise. A promise that no matter what happened in the past, my future is bright, and I can finally see it clearly.